Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to SKR Season 5, Round 2, and welcome to the thrilling Baku circuit. Very different circuit from what we had in Round 1. Round 1, lots and lots of runoff area, lots of space, wide circuit. We go into Baku. Not a lot of mistakes can be made. Certain parts of this track allow no second chances. Good evening to everybody in the comment section, everybody who's watching this back home, and everybody who's going to be watching this probably later on in the week. Evening to Death Queen, Dixie Killer, Foot Soldier. Great to have guys in the comment section so early. Already have some action out on circuit. Obviously everybody choosing to get on the soft compound. No one wasting any time, just the one quali session, 18 minutes. Some of those minutes may have already disappeared. We have a Williams without a front wing. That's not how you want to start quali. If you'll see two names at the bottom of the field there, P16, P17, Lord Cypher and Grimmy. They will be starting from the back of the field, as this is their first race with SKR. And as per the rules, when you have your first race with SKR, you start at the back. Oh, there we go. I couldn't hear the cars. That's a bit better. A lot of cars out on outlaps. Most of the field. In fact, just Madwell and Divan deciding to stay in the pits for now. First man on an outlap will be the McLaren of F1 Andre. He's going to be followed by Resolution in the Alpha Tauri. Those will be the first two over the line to set a fast lap. They will set the benchmark for everyone else. Right on board with this McLaren so we can get a scope of what this track is all about. If you're watching this, you're probably very familiar with the Baku circuit, but just as a reminder, probably the worst bit right here. So easy to make a mistake, clip that castle wall, and well, Charles Leclerc said it best: I am stupid. There goes Andre, continuing with that lap. He will be the first one to go over the line. Then it'll be this man here, Alpha Tauri Revolution. To everyone in the, I see there's quite a few people watching live right now, so let's have some interaction. No times on your screen. Let me know what's your prediction for pole position. Give me a lap time, give me a name, if you're brave enough to give me a name. Andre goes over the line, goes P1, the only man to set a lap time so far. It's a 1:42.4. He's going to be followed by this man here, Revolution. Goes P2, 1:44.8. Quite a difference between your top two. Where is this Ferrari? I'm looking for a particular red car and I just can't find it. There we go. No, it's not that one. There we go. Reeves. He will be the first Ferrari over the line. Let's see what he can do. It's good enough for P4, 1:44.8. Pantry Star going quickest, 142.2. Immediately beaten by this man here. Red Bull Racing Afro, 141.1. And that is the fastest lap of the night by quite a considerable margin. Am I reading that wrong? No, I'm not. That's 1.1 seconds for provisional pole. Now the second McLaren will go over the line. That's Louis P6, 144.2. Little slower than his teammate. Ultra Gamer, he'll go over the line. 142.1. Closer to Afro, but still not quite. That gap 1 second at the front. Divan on an outlap. Madwell still in the pits, no movement from him. And then Mr. M, he's on a fast lap, I believe. He's going to go over the line and set his first time. And what a time it is, a 141.9. Second man into the 141s tonight. And after the first stint of runs, Afro leads the way, past P2, P3. Madwell is on an outlap. He has yet to set a lap time. This man here, Divan, he is on a fast lap, also yet to set a time. So easy to get caught out in these short quali sessions. Remember, Baku, one of the longer circuits on the calendar, so it takes a while to get around. So if you have a run or two that you don't get quite right, you can quickly run out of time and find yourself further down the order than you would like. Ultra Gamer on an in lap, as is Ulrich. Andre seems to be on the move. He's currently P6. He was the first man to set a lap time this evening. It was that 142.4. Now looking to find an improvement. No one in the comment section so far brave enough to give me a pole prediction. Maybe it's a little too early on in the session. But let me know, what do you think? Afro currently 141.1. Is that the quickest we're going to see? Are we going to see a 140? This is Andre. You can see he was trying to get as much slipstream as he could off the car that was coming into the pits. It is an improvement. It's a 42 flat, and it's good enough for P3. He splits the two Haas drivers. Visor going slowly. Not a lot of action out on track right now. Revolution on an outlap. Ferrari going around very slowly. Andre on an in-lap. Absolutely no action out on track to speak of at this point in time. Just 9 minutes remain on the clock, so half the session has passed. And while there's a little pause in the action, it's a good time to mention some of our sponsors. Obviously, first sponsor, GeForce Sim. Experience the thrill of racing with GeForce Sim, offering SKR members a 5% discount on all racing rigs and equipment available at the website. Elevate your racing experience and visit GeForce Sim. for your 5% discount. Just let them know who sent you and you'll get that discount. Ulrich on an outlap. Louis on the second McLaren, he's also on an outlap, looking to improve. His teammate did improve, went up to P3. Revolution. He is currently in P12 and now he's on a second run, but he's on a set of mediums. Not quite sure what the thinking is behind that, but these guys are a heck of a lot faster than me, so I don't question it. Akmagozi has retired from the session. He was in P13 when he did retire, so that will be his best possible starting position, P13. But if anybody behind him does improve, he will fall further down the order. The field right now, a mixture of outlaps and drivers in the pits. No fast laps to speak of right now. Obviously, after this session, we have 6.5 minutes to go in this session. Then we're going to be straight on into the round 2 race here at Baku. Reminder to all the drivers, if you are listening, there is a 5-minute break. A mandatory 5-minute break between qualifying and the race. Do not hit your ready button, otherwise you're going to infuriate the rest of the field. A moment ago I said there was no one on fast laps. Now we do have a few drivers on fast laps. Ulrich, Alfa Romeo, currently P6, looking to improve on that time. 142.1, wants to put himself into the 141s. He's on the absolute cusp of getting into the 141s. And now Ulrich looking to get himself up the field, as is Divan on an outlap, Ultra Gamer on an outlap, Andre on an outlap. It's going to be a busy racetrack towards the end of the session here. Rizzi in the second Ferrari, currently a 146.2. He's out on track looking to improve. Revolution outlap. Your second McLaren also looking for improvement, currently P11. That is Louis, 144.2. Seems to be going slowly. I wonder if he invalidated and he's just charging up, as is this man here. Charging up his visor as he goes down the straight awfully slowly. He's in P10. We'll ride with Virus. He's starting a quick lap, giving it absolutely everything into turn 1. Feels like you just run out of gears. Well, if it feels like you're running out of gears, wait until 2026, when you only have 6 gears. That should be interesting. Pantry Star also now going over the line, looking for an improvement on that time, and what an improvement it is. It's a 141.4 and puts himself up onto the front row. Not quite quick enough to get that time away from Afro. He's still on provisional pole with that scorcher of a lap time, 141.1. This is Ulrich, P4. Andre P5. Ultra Gamer P6. As high as P3 at a stage. Just shows you how close these times really are. If you look at the lap times between 3rd and 7th, it's really a 10th of a second. Now we'll ride with Virus. He's looking to get a better lap time than the one he has, a 1:43.8, good enough for P9. He's going to activate DRS and empty out everything that battery has left, see if he can improve from P9. He does improve, but I don't think it's the improvement he quite would have wanted. Improves from P9 to P8. Ulrich going slowly, he's on his way to the pits it seems. Pantry Star, he'll be on an in lap from that extremely impressive lap that he just did. We haven't seen much of this man here. Second Ferrari. Reezy, currently P14. Currently his best lap, a 1:46.2, finding it difficult around the streets of Baku. Still trying to come to terms with the car and the circuit, and giving it one last go to get himself up the field. Afro, your provisional pole sitter, 1:41.1 on an outlap. Pantry Star comes into the pits. That'll be the end of his session. Not enough time to get back out there. Anyone who's in the pits, that is the end of their session. Virus, he's on an in lap. He was able to improve, but only by that one position. Revolution, currently P10. Is he on a fast lap or is he charging up? I can't make sure. I think he's charging up. Here we have Visor, Alfa Romeo, P11. Currently, the Alfa Romeo's P4 and P11. It's a best performing team on the night so far. If qualifying were to end right now, that would have to go to Haas. Two drivers within the top 6. Virus retires from the session. Obviously knows there's not enough time to get back out there. Might as well take a 2-minute break. An extra 2-minute break before the start of the race, and drivers don't forget about the 5-minute break. We have a Haas. I just said Haas was the best performing team. Well, we have a Haas in the side of the wall there. That's Mr. M. He was trying to improve and he found the wall in the latter stages of qualifying. No seconds remaining. Checkered flag is out. And if you're out there on a fast lap, this is your final attempt for everybody else. That is qualifying. Louis still out on track in the second of the two McLarens in your field tonight. His teammate up in P5, he's in P12 looking for a better lap time. Afro did improve, look at that. That's, well, I'm not even quite sure what to say there. I thought if we saw 1:40 it would be really impressive, but that's not just a 1:40, that's a mid 1:40. So it's not like he was just getting in there. Very nicely done. And I said it the other night, but if that translates to race pace, the other drivers in this field can only hope for safety cars to come and bring the field together every now and then, because if that's his race pace, he's going to run away at the front and absolutely dominate. This is Ultra Gamer. Closing stages of qualifying, giving it absolutely everything. Battery's almost empty, opens up DRS. And you just wish you had another gear, wish you had another boost of some sort. He does improve, but we don't see by how much. He goes up into P5. And that's a very useful late improvement. So there's your official qualifying results. Afro P1, what a lap time, 140.5, class of the field. Then Pantry Star P2, Divan P3, Mr. Rem P4, Ultra Gamer P5. I know I'm saying P3 wrong, but anyway, Ulrich P6, Andre in P7. Then we have Virus P8, Top Gun P9, and Revolution making up the top 10. Then, outside the top 10, P11 we have Louis, P12 Visor, P13 Apmagozi, and then P14, and the last man to set a lap time, Reezy in the Ferrari. No lap time from Madwell, and Lord Cypher and Grimmy serving their first race of the league penalty. We now head off into the race. For everybody who's watching, if there is a bit of silence, that's because we are having our 5-minute break, our 5-minute interval before the race starts. So if you're a driver and you're listening to this, just a reminder, 5-minute break. I'll be back in just a couple. Enjoy. And we're back. I'm seeing a lot of names leaving the session. I am going to go ahead and presume that there is something wrong with the session. This probably means a lobby restart. If that is the case, I'm just waiting for some confirmation on my side as to what is happening. But as for the stream, I may mute from time to time, but we will keep this stream live. We will keep this stream up, so no reason to leave and find another link. We'll simply keep this stream up until we can have a better idea of what's going on. So I think we will be having a lobby restart of some sort. I'm going to just mute for a minute or two. Please do stay with the channel, don't leave the stream. And as soon as we have any further news on what's happening next, we'll be back. Channel's not going down, stream's not going down, so just stay with us. Thanks, guys. Okay, I hope that you have stayed with us. Sorry about the delay. There was obviously something wrong with the previous lobby, but seems like we will be underway shortly. Everybody just getting back in their car, getting back in the lobby, and obviously now whoever the host of this lobby is needs to set up the grid manually, because we won't be having a quali session. So this may just take a minute or two, but then we'll be underway. So thanks for staying with us, and we'll be back shortly. The one positive we do have about that was that we didn't even get through turn 1, so no effect on the race, and just the final touches being made to that grid so that we can get back underway. And Visor, if you are listening, choose your car. Welcome back. We do have 17 drivers, and we do have ready ups appearing on the right hand side of our screen, so I think we'll be underway in no time. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for staying with us. We'll be underway shortly. This gives an opportunity for me to thank another one of our sponsors, Works Group SA. Thanks to your sponsorship and innovative force in the garment industry in SA, all your corporate branding solutions visit Works Group SA on their website, worksgroupsa.co.za. And obviously thanks to Works Group for providing the hats for P1, P2 and P3 for Season 5 at SKR. We'll be underway shortly. And there we go. Welcome back to Baku. At least welcome back to the pit lane. So, because of that problem we had with the first race start, means the 5-minute break has been reduced to a 2-minute break. We will be underway in 2 minutes from now. At local time, 18:48. While we have another minute before the race start, thought I was going to space these out a little bit more, but since we have no action out on track, let me just get to it. Just going to have a quick mention. Thanks to our third sponsor here at SKR, that's LMT Accounting, your financial partner offering professional accounting services, bookkeeping and company registrations. For all your accounting needs, reach out to LMT Accounting. You can find them on Facebook. Just search LMT Accounting. Obviously, they will be providing SKR with a winner's trophy at the end of Season 5. So that's a little something for the drivers to be going after. Everyone that's in the comment section, thanks for hanging around. Thanks for your patience. You're all very quiet though, unless you're in a cockpit of a car. Leave a message every now and then and give a prediction. What do you think's going to happen? I haven't seen any drivers freaking out on Discord, so I don't think rain is going to play a part. There are your red lights. When there's 5, there'll be a pause, then they'll go out, and we'll be underway, and we're underway. And Afro leads the way into turn 1. Got awfully close to the Aston Martin, but no issues. Everyone through turn 1, nice and clean. Good to see. Afro leads the way. Pantry Star P2, then the Ferrari of, is it Divan or Divan? I'm not sure. Ferrari P3, then Mr. M P4. His teammates on the move though. Ultra Gamer up into P5. Ulrich, he's lost the position down into 6th. Then we've got Andre P7, Top Gun P8, Virus P9, and Louis making up the top 10. Obviously here at SKR, it's not just the top 10 that score points. They score points all the way down to P12. So Reezy and Lord Cypher making up your points paying positions. Magosi picks up a position that's on his teammate, but his teammate does appear to be ghosting. So issues there on the second AlphaTauri of Revolution. Magosi continues on this long way forward, many cars ahead of him, but he's made up one position, needs to keep going. Afro, we saw that gap in qualifying, and I said that if that sort of pace translated into race pace, the guys behind were going to have to pray for safety cars just to reel that Red Bull back in. And the gap already early on, lap 1, it's actually coming down a little bit. That's the power of slipstream on this circuit. Extremely long straights. But Afro almost opening that gap up to 2 seconds. Pantry Star makes the move. Gets past the Ferrari. Well, the Ferrari was actually just in front ever so briefly. Pantry Star retains P2. Wonder if team orders or discussions will come into play here. Two Haas cars very close together, running line astern. If one is clearly faster, we could see a switch, but not at this stage of the race, because all of these cars are so close together. You do a switch and you could lose another 2 or 3 positions. Second AlphaTauri, his teammates doing really well up in P2. That's not an AlphaTauri, that's an Aston Martin. Aston Martin up in P2, his teammate Top Gun also getting a good handful of points so far. He's in P7. Ulrich has lost 10 positions since the start of the race. Make that 9 because he's just picked one up. Goes past McLaren of Louis. So far, your Alfa Romeos. Next year they'll be known as Sauber. 2 Alfa Romeos not having a good day, and there's your first retirement of the night. Your first retirement, and followed by your first safety car. Top Gun. We just mentioned him earlier. Comes the first retirement of the evening, and this brings out the first safety car of the evening. Now we're under safety car conditions. It's only lap 3. So I don't think this is going to have too much effect in terms of getting a very busy pit lane. Everybody out there on a fresh set of tyres. Don't really see anyone jumping into the pits. Getting rid of a set of tyres that has hardly been used, especially your leader. He was looking to go deep into this race because he was the only one there in the top 5 that started on hards. Ultra Gamer has made it into the top 5, but that's not where he started. Fantastic to see when you switch over to that penalties page and there's absolutely nothing. No penalties. Obviously early days, and this isn't really the place you want a corner cut, because often you could find a concrete wall on the other side of that curb. Tyre situation, as you can see, quite an even split between, actually a little bit more mediums than hards, than just the 2 drivers choosing to be out there on the soft. One of them, Visor, is obviously looking to get his way up through the field. He'll be grateful for this safety car. Two Alfa Romeos very far adrift from the rest of the field, so they'll be grateful for the safety car. It'll bring them back up to the back of the field. Passing may be difficult, but It's even more difficult when you've got to close a 30-second gap before you can think of passing. Afro, there we go, he collects, or the safety car rather, collects the Red Bull. Really depends if those Alfa Romeos can catch up to the back of the queue, but I'm almost certain that we will see another lap of this after this one. And then hopefully the safety car will be in on the next lap and we can get back underway, back up to racing speed. But for the time being, race neutralized. This man here has had a pretty strong race up until now. He's found 6 positions since the race start, but his teammate is the one that's stealing all the headlines and all the limelight at the front. Afro's so quick in that first stint of the race, but the safety car putting an end to any advantage he may have found. So easy at the start of the race. Get your mind in focus. You think you're all in gear, then you get a safety car and it just breaks your concentration a little. Really so important not to forget where your brake pedal is into turn 1. It happens many times that you see a much more messy turn 1 on a safety car restart than you see at the start of a race. So everyone out there will be trying to keep their focus. See, tonight we are at SKR Season 5 Round 2 here at Baku. Lap 5 of 26, safety car conditions. Next week we will be at the Circuit of Americas for Round 3. And F1 will be at the Circuit of Americas at the same time. Sure, guys already starting to do their preparations for Kota. I know when it comes to Kota, I've got to start quite a few days before the race, just to make sure I can get through those S's correctly. I've never been able to figure those out. Spoke about the Alfa Romeos. They're at the back of this field. They're going to catch up to this queue in the next couple of corners, and I think we'll see the safety car come in this lap. I was saying that Alfa Romeo will be no more next season. This team will be known as Sauber. And actually the Alfa Romeo name, this is all very confusing, the Alfa Romeo name will be moving to Haas. So the MoneyGram Alfa Romeo Haas. While this car here becomes Sauber. Sauber actually has one thing in common with South Africa. Sauber made its debut at the South African Grand Prix in 1993. And it was also the scene of Mercedes-Benz reintroduction into F1 as a engine supplier, because they obviously came into Formula 1 in 1993 with Sauber. An all-black car with no sponsors on it. The only wording you could find on it was powered by Mercedes-Benz. And 30 years later, Sauber is still on the tarmac of F1. Probably the only privately owned small team that has survived. Although they have been through several modifications that has probably extended its lifespan. Sauber, known as BMW at a stage, also known as Alfa Romeo at a stage, and now going back to its original name. Thanks to Dixie Killer in the comment section. Just saying thanks for the stream. We're on the safety car, so yeah, I'm just trying to fill the void of no action by giving you a Sauber history lesson. I just thought of another weird fact about Sauber. Sauber was once home to two very, very prominent F1 sponsors in F1 today. Sauber was covered in the sponsors of Red Bull as well as Petronas. What a combination. Afro going very slowly, and there we go. We were waiting for him to get going, and we heard the engine open up. Afro gets back underway. Pantry Star gets back underway. And round 2, we can hit the play button. We have a Aston Martin up the field that is ghosting. I think that is Pantry Star. Pantry Star, yes, the other Aston Martin is out of the race. So that is Pantry Star in P3. He is ghosting. So whatever issues he is having out on track, hopefully he can correct those as soon as possible. Yes, 2 Haas closing in on him quick. And until he can reclaim possession or control of that car, he's just going to continue losing positions. This just after a safety car, so the whole field stacked together. And that Aston Martin will fall down the field if he is not able to retake control. 2 Haas drivers up to P3 and 4, so they have cleared that Aston Martin. The Aston Martin falling down the field. Good night for Haas so far. Do they have that little bit more to get up the road? I'm just going to call him 101, or should I call him Van 101? I'll call him Van 101. I shouldn't have said that. Really? I shouldn't have said the man's name. But yes, I said his name, and immediately a retirement. Virtual safety car. Lap 7 of 26. Commentator's curse strikes again. I can't exactly keep my mouth shut. What would I do in the comms box? 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Who was that? Let's just have a look. A whole bunch of penalties actually popped up on the screen almost simultaneously. There we go, Lord Cypher, Louis, Grimm and Ulrich all picking up 5-second penalties for what I assume was speeding in the pit lane, trying to get into the pits really quick under virtual safety car. make the most of it. Obviously, it's not like a full safety car. You don't get the full advantage in the pits. And now that virtual safety car is over and Afro is able to get back underway. And look how much time he's made up under virtual safety car. The two Haas cars now 6 seconds adrift from your leader. And he'll be hoping for no more safety cars, so that he can get on with the job. If you look at the tyre situation, you wouldn't believe that your leader is on the hardest compound, yet he runs away. So I think those lap times could be even more impressive towards the end of the race, when he's got the tyre he actually wants to be on. Virus having a good night. Up into P5. Made up a few positions now from his starting position. F1 Andre in P4. Where is that Aston Martin? Let's yeah, he has fallen all the way to the back of the field, and I wonder if we're going to see anyone retake control of that vehicle, or if we're going to see it ghost around till the conclusion of this race. DRS has been re-enabled, but that will not be a concern of race leader Afro. He will have no DRS concerns. He has a 6-second gap. And now the two Haas cars getting awfully close. The last thing they want to do is run into each other. It'll be a tragedy if the two teammates take each other out. It's exactly what you don't want for the Constructors' Championship. When the cars are both running in the points and this high up in the points, you don't want to run into each other, so faster driver needs to go through. And I think that Ultra Gamer, for the time being, he is on the hard. Mr. Rem is on the medium. So they are on different strategies, the two Haas drivers. Will be interesting to see how they play that situation out at Magosi. In the leading Alpha Tauri, currently P10 on a set of mediums. His teammate also in the points, 1 point, P12, but that car is ghosting. So note to self, keep in mind Alpha Tauri is ghosting. Is it just me, or is that car looks fine? I think Pantry Star is back in the Aston Martin, but he's not going to be too impressed to see what he finds when he opens up to P14. Now Afro, fastest lap of the race, and that's on a set of hards. Fastest lap of the race on a set of hards, that's lap 10. And I think now those hards are going to really come into their own. Maybe a couple of the guys that chose to start on the softer compounds will start to feel a little loss of grip. Ultra Gamer currently in P2. I know I'm not supposed to, not here to insult anybody, I'm just here to talk, okay? So don't take anything too badly. I was going to say that Ultra Gamer was in P2, but it looks like Division 2. The gap 11.5 seconds. What is Afro doing out front? He's doing something different out front, but he is finding time in absolute handfuls and continuing to extend that lead at the front of the race. Now a little further back in P2, we have a fight for P2. Madwell, the second Red Bull. We haven't spoken much about the second Red Bull, but here is the second Red Bull. right on the back of that horse, and it's going to be so difficult now for Ultra Gamer to pull up any sort of a defense. So many straights, so many long DRS zones. And look at that, he got past before he activated DRS. So now he's going to get the benefit of DRS after passing the horse. And we have a Red Bull 1-2. I'd say that looks awfully close to real life, but who's kidding? Perez P2. Pfizer having a good recovery drive. Remember, he was towards the back of the field. He's now into P10. At Magosi, he made a visit to the pit lane, so he will rejoin in P15. Red Bull having a fantastic night. They'd be hoping this could be lap 11 of 11 and things could just end right here. That would be perfect. Not a bad night for Haas either. P3, P5. Ultra Gamer, Mr. M. And then the Mercedes. Line astern on the timing sheets, not on the track. Rather big gap between the two of them. Almost 5 seconds between the two Mercedes on different strategies. One on mediums, one on hards. Yes, the power of my commentator's curse suddenly pulled your wheel to the left, and that explains the crash. That is a racing driver's answer. I didn't hit the barrier. The barrier moved. Back at the front, no change. Afro continues to extend that gap. 12 seconds now. Andre, P3. Best of the rest as far as the teams go. McLaren, P3. And he's doing everything he can to hold on to it, because Ultra Gamer now wants to get himself up into the podium positions. Yeah, no, Van 101, that's actually a true story, by the way. I don't know, I'm commentating in multiple leagues, and I told this story the other day in another league, so if you're watching this, I apologize for telling the same story. But Van 101, that's a true story. Ayrton Senna went out in qualifying in Monte Carlo, and to everyone's shock, he hit the barrier and retired from the session. And when he returned to the pits and his engineer asked him what happened, he said that the barrier had moved. And after several minutes of the team laughing at him, he convinced them to take a drive up in the medical car to that barrier because he wanted it inspected. Turns out the barrier had moved a total of 5 millimeters because there had been an incident there in practice, and when the barrier was replaced, it was put further inside the track than expected. So yes, sometimes the barrier does move. As for the second Red Bull, had a quiet start to the race. We didn't speak about him much. We didn't give him much coverage. But now all of a sudden he's getting a lot of coverage. He's up into P2 and he's actually starting to reel in that gap. That gap was at 12.5 seconds. It's now at 10.5 seconds. So we could still see that second Red Bull catching up. And as I say that, well, you know, the commentator's curse thing, I don't believe it's real, but every now and then it makes me question myself. Lap 13 of 26, we're exactly at halfway distance, and we're going to have another safety car. This is going to be interesting because we saw Madwell was starting to close that gap, but now under safety car at the restart, we're going to have Red Bull P1, Red Bull P2, Haas P3, Haas P4. What are you going to do? You're going to protest the commentator. I'm getting protested in round 2. So this is not how you want to start seasons. I'm already getting protested in round 2. So can only imagine what this comment section is going to be like by the time we get to the end of the season. It's going to be all sort of abuse thrown at me. There's nothing I can do about the commentator's curse. I swear it's not me. What that has done is given us a very interesting scenario. Afro into the pits. Luckily there was a good gap between those cars because the Red Bulls are going to double stack. But the mechanics have more than enough time so nobody gets delayed. The 2 Haas cars doing the same thing. The top 2 teams on the night, Red Bull versus Haas, both doing the double stack. Best of the rest, McLaren, Louis, P5, also into the pits. Most cars utilizing this safety car for a pit stop. Don't think anybody has stayed out to try and maintain track position. Think everyone made use of that safety car. Just go through the tyre sets, pantry start, and Ulrich decided to stay out. They will restart the race in P5 and P8, but everybody else on track did make a pit stop. See Revolution, Andre and Virus, they did not pit, but they had pit the lap before. That is probably the worst feeling when you come into the pits, you're on your out lap, and then there's a safety car. Lots of support in the comment section for various drivers now. Got support coming in for Pantry Star, and what a race he's had. He's back up into P5. Was looking really quick at the start of the race. Then had some sort of issue where he was no longer in control of his car. An AI was in control of his car. That took him all the way down the field. And he's been able to regain multiple positions. He's back up into P5, but remember, he's on a set of 6 lap old hards, so at the end of the race those hards are going to be pretty much stretched to their extent. Your top 3 on identical strategies, it seems. Afro, Madwell and Ultra Gamer all on a set of mediums. Those are your top 3. So I don't think tyres will decide the positions in the top 3. And what will be interesting is obviously again those top 3 all on a set of mediums, and the next 4 cars on the grid all on a set of hards. So who made the right decision? Who made the right call? All will be revealed in just 11 laps from now. Wow, that like really, that 11, that took a lot from my brain. Almost had to grab the phone calculator for that. Lap 15 of 26. No change in the order. That's because everybody pretty much in the order utilized the safety car. So same as when the safety car came out, it's 2 Red Bulls followed by 2 Haas. And those cars were pretty far apart and separated down the track, those top 4, but not anymore at the restart. I'm pretty sure the safety car will come in this lap, and then we will have a 10-lap shootout. And I think really anybody here in this lineup has an opportunity. With 10 laps to go, anything can happen. And if Madwell is able to bring the pace that we saw before the safety car, and he's able to challenge his teammate, and the Red Bulls begin to fight, and the two Haas cars begin to fight, we could see a very unlikely winner. We will ride with the Haas in P3, the Haas of Ultra Gamer. Get us some perspective. When does the leader go? And there's the perspective. He's gone. He's on his way. And the Madwell, he did not get the jump on Madwell. Madwell holding on. 0.2 of a second is the gap as they head into turn 1. Let's switch into a better camera. And there we go. No incidents into turn 1. Everybody keeping cool. Just 10 laps in this race. And if you did utilize that safety car for a pit stop, it means you have a fresh set of tires. Just 10 laps remaining. You can throw everything at it. Don't need to worry about conserving your tire or stretching your tire. Nobody out there is on a set of softs. So this will be racing to its max. No sandbagging. No tire management. Just pure racing. You need 10 qualifying laps from here to the end of the race. Ferrari, I have no idea why I said that, but a Red Bull 1-2. We have one Ferrari out and one Ferrari in P11. The two Alfa Romeos in P8 and 9. So, flying the flag for Ferrari tonight, Ultra Gamer and Mr. M in the two Haas. Out front, no difference between the Red Bull drivers. Are they going to... Ooh, and we've got a pit stop. Madwell jumps into the pits. Don't know what that is about. I don't see any damage to his car. And there we go. We didn't see it, but he must have had... We didn't see it, but he must have had a drive-through penalty. We missed it. That is something we missed, unfortunately. Sorry about that, but he had a drive-through penalty. Went and served it on the very next lap. And because the cars were so close together from the safety car restart, it means that that little detour through the pit lane has cost him 10 positions, down from P2 to P12. That gives the Haas team now a chance at a double podium, currently P2 and P3. And Mr. M doing enough to break the DRS zone between him and the McLaren behind. So important to stay within DRS on this track if there's any hope of making a pass. Once you fall out of that DRS, things just become so much more difficult with these long straights. Lap 17 of 26, 9 laps to go. It's been an interesting race. It's been an up and down race. We've had a virtual safety car and we've had two safety cars. But this man right here, none of those things have affected him. None of those things have affected his race. Now I wonder if that was the internet or if that was the driver, but we just saw him clip the wall on the outside. If it was the driver, it'll just be a little wake up. That could have very well just been a little bit of a connection issue that we saw on the screen. As we were saying, this man over here, he took pole position by a considerable margin, and he has led since turn 1. Nobody has been able to take the lead away from him, even briefly. Thought his teammate might be able to do it, but he got that drive through and really hurt the chances of his race. As we speak of that second Red Bull, we go to him as he's making a pass on Breezy, so he gets past the Ferrari back into P11. His next target will be a Mercedes-Benz. That is Lord Cypher on his debut here at SKR. Remember, he started at the back of the field. And getting very racy there. Lord Cypher, I think he may have clipped the wall on the outside. Just getting very racy there. And so easy around this circuit to just forget that the barriers are not far away. Afro, fastest lap of the race, a 1:43.4. And the lead at the front, 5 seconds. Doesn't seem there's much the two Haas drivers can do. To fight for the lead. Ultra Gamer seems pretty comfortable in P2. Mr. Rem, he has not secured that podium as of yet. He's still got a McLaren to worry about. Now Virus makes the pass on Pantry Star. Gets himself up into P5, top performing Mercedes on the night. Speaking of Pantry Star, he's in P6. And he's got 2 Alfa Romeos behind him who very much want to fix their race. Remember, those 2 Alfa Romeos would have spent some time at the back of the field. Now they're in P7 and 8 with a field that is still relatively close together. They can still accumulate a lot of positions in the closing laps. Looking for battles on the track. We have Andre still fighting for P3, but he's 7/10 away. Where is Madwell? He's currently in P10 and he's all over the back of a McLaren. Looking to get himself as high up in the points as possible. Remember, P2 really looked like what he was destined for. Possibly a P1. But we never got to see that battle. All we got was a what-if scenario. Madwell makes up a position now on the straight. Maybe he'll make up another position into the corner. But for now, P9, Madwell on a recovery drive. His teammate couldn't be more comfortable. P1, 8 seconds up the road. Ultra Gamer, well, that's not commentator's curse because, well, I don't know. I said his name and then I went to the screen and he was facing the wrong direction. So the Haas, which were looking so strong for a double podium, P2, P3, now all of a sudden P3, P4. And the man that was able to make the most of the disadvantages of the Haas team is the McLaren driver, F1 Andre, up into P2. But look at the gap for the lead. Comment section gone awfully quiet again. It's either because I've annoyed all of my viewers or because the action is extremely intense. Lap 21 of 26. Afro still leads. Andre P2, followed by the 2 Haas drivers, Mr. M and Ultra Gamer. Virus having a good drive, P5. with a virtual safety car. Not a full safety car, so we're not going to be completely neutralized. But this will just have everyone slow down. As Lord Cypher comes the latest man not to finish tonight, so both debutants not finishing tonight in SKR. Better luck to them in round 3. Tough lessons for the debutants at Baku. Not really the track you want to start at. Got a feel for them both. 5 retirements in total. Lord Cypher at Magosi, Van 101 Top Gun, and Grimmy was actually a DSQ. Further back in the field, let's see if we can find any battles. Everybody pretty well spaced out at the moment. Closest cars we have are the 2 Alfa Romeos, and I don't think we'll see any dramatic fighting between the teammates. Mr. Rem has regained P2 for Haas. Obviously his teammate was in P2. His teammate now down in P4, doing everything he can in the final stages of the race. Everything he can. His main goal will be to catch up to this McLaren, get into the DRS zone. But he's running out of time, and he's running out of tarmac. Foot soldier, don't say things like that. Because then what happens is I laugh in the commentary box, and I know I can't repeat it because it's, well, if the guy's watching, it's not a nice thing to say, but seeing the blue W at the bottom of the field with the DSQ next to its name does definitely bring up a few memories. I think for the past couple of years, actually, Williams has always had a interesting personality in their second car. We're obviously speaking the likes of Logan Sargent, Nicholas Latifi, and remember prior to Lawrence Stroll buying his son a team, Lance Stroll was once a pay driver for Williams. Believe it or not, Lance Stroll was once a Ferrari Academy driver alongside Charles Leclerc. Speaking of Lance Stroll, this is, if I'm not mistaken, the track where he took his one and only pole position. And so far, looking at the podium position, if things were to end now, 3 manufacturers in the top 3. But where is Ultra Gamer? Ultra Gamer in a battle of his own now. He wanted to, I was saying he'd be looking to get back on the podium, but now he's got his hands full. As Madwell gets past the Mercedes-Benz of Virus, and now he's heading off in the direction of that second Haas. And what a drive this would be, to go from P2, do a drive through, come back at the back of the field and somehow finish near the podium. That would be impressive. Almost as impressive as his teammate up the road. A 16.5 second gap. I'm just trying to picture what would this gap be if we had had no safety cars to cancel out the gap. Because remember, Afro's gap has been cancelled twice now. We could easily be looking at something in the region of over half a minute. So I suppose qualifying pace did translate to race pace. What I've seen so many times before is guys are incredibly quick in quali, and when it comes to race conditions, they just can't keep the car on the track because they've set that car up for an ultimate quali lap and not a race distance. But now that second Red Bull, Madwell, matching with the name, a mad drive, a mad recovery, and now he goes past the first, or the second rather, Haas. Ultra Gamer demoted into P5, Madwell promoted into P4. But I think a podium would be a lofty aspiration because the gap between him and the podium is 2 seconds. That final step taken by Andre as things stand. Well, that's just while we're making comparisons to real F1 drivers, that was just a Max Verstappen thing to do. You've got a massive gap. The race is in your hands. You really just need to keep the car in a straight line and bring it home. And he's decided, you know what? I really want to cement this fastest lap and prove a point and maybe rub some salt into the wounds. He's come in late in the race, found himself a new set of softs, and I think he's just gonna go around and show us a purple lap to raise our eyebrows in what has been a rather boring race for the lead. Nothing happening for the lead, so Afro just trying to give the viewers something to see in terms of a lap time. Madwell now, we said he wouldn't catch up to the podium, but don't say he can't, because he has proven that he definitely can. He was at the back of the field and now coming up into P2, gets into P2 before turn 1. DRS so strong on this circuit, 25 of 26, that means there's 2 laps to go, and the Red Bull does have the leading Haas driver now, Mr. Rem, in his sights, and we could still have a Red Bull 1-2 on the cards. And speaking of, as easy as you like, DRS is open, goes alongside Red Bull 1-2, Afro leads from Madwell. Mr. Rem, he'll be trying to get that P2 back, but as you can see, car just squirming at the back, so he'll be in 2 minds. Do I attack for P2 or do I defend from this McLaren just behind me? Could get greedy, want that extra podium step, and land up losing the podium. Well, I think Mr. M can relax now. I don't think he's going to lose that podium, because F1 Andre becomes the latest car to join the DNF list that has promoted Virus into a P4. I think he'll be happy with that, considering he's qualifying. Visor P6, Pantry P7, Louis P8. And now we have less than 12 cars on the grid, which means everybody who makes it to the start-finish line will get points. And there we go, 1:41.8, fastest lap of the race. Just proving a point. In fact, when he came out of the pits, that gap was 2 seconds, and it's back up to 7.7. So, not quite sure what's going on in that Red Bull. Can't speak more about this team, but you have to mention his teammate. What a drive by the Red Bulls, and what a drive we could have had if they had both started on the front row. All the what ifs, all the scenarios, but none of that counts, because in the final stages of the race, this is your order. No matter what happened before, no matter what your lap time was in qualifying, this is what counts. Qualifying only good enough for 1 point if you get pole position. This is where the points come from. And this is where you've got to get it right. We'll ride with Afro. He's far ahead of the field, so we'll get to see him go over the line. And there we go. He sees the start-finish line in front of him. And he hasn't seen anyone in front of him. What a race. Afro. Brilliant race. His teammate now over the line in P2 for Madwell. A Red Bull 1-2 maximum points. And that is definitely going to have a serious effect on the Constructors' Championship. And just over the line, Ultra Gamer doing everything he could to get past Virus, but not quite enough. 19 thousandths of a second. The gap between P4 and 5. Razor, he'll come over the line pretty comfortably. P6, then Pantry Star P7. We now wait for Louis P8. Reezy in P9. Ulrich in P10. And I believe that is your entire field over the line. Remember that final car, Revolution, that car, if I'm not mistaken, has ghosted for the duration of the race. Madwell, driver of the day, congratulations, and what a drive he did have. Well earned. And look at that, Red Bull 1-2, helmet marker would be thrilled if only Red Bull knew how to manage a second driver. So there are your final race results for round 2 of season 5. Afro takes the win, fastest lap, just for that extra point. 26 points on the night. 1:41.8, that was the fastest lap. Then Madwell in the second Red Bull, what a drive he had. Managed to finish P2. Mr. M P3, Virus P4, Ultra Gamer P5, Visor in P6, Pantry Star P7. Then we have Louis in P8, Reezy P9, Ulrich P10. And those are your finishes on the night. Revolution in P11. He was ghosting throughout the race. Then Andre, Lord Cypher, Grimmy, Apmagozi, Van 101, and Top Gun. Make up your DNFs. To everyone who joined us tonight, and everyone who's going to watch this later on, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe later on in the week, or you'll be listening to this in the background. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for supporting SKR. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, for round 3 of season 5 at the Circuit of the Americas. To all our viewers, to everyone who contributed to the comment section, thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I'll speak to you all next week. Enjoy.